Hey everybody, this is Erica from the Classy Climb blog. I'm coming to you tonight with the my podcast show. It's the Classy Climb show. I'm very excited to do it. And it's a little late, but it's important. So this topic tonight, we're talking about tax season and plus massive action equals a bright future, right? Because we have all these people and it's what we call is 30-day tag season. And you look up and everybody's got their 30-day tags and you're like, what? I'm working hard. I'm paying all these taxes. How can I break free and have a brighter future, not just shine during tax season? And I got some good news and I got some bad news during this episode. There's 500,000 people about to be kicked off of food stamps in February. Came out in an article today and it talked about, hey, new regulations. If you're single, you don't have kids, you're 18 to 49, you're not working, we're just going to go with this new rule, 3-month rule, and you got to get out unless you're working 20 hours a week. And most people are going to go, oh my God, they're kicking 500,000 people off food stamps. That's terrible. Well, listen, if you're on food stamps, the best option you could take at this moment would be to just stock up on a tons of beans, a tons of rice, a tons of nice stewed beef, and tons of canned veggies. And enjoy it while it lasts, because we just cannot depend on the government when they change rules and change regulations. And some people won't take heed to this, and they'll wake up one morning and realize their food stamps are gone. So that sucks. But also, another thing going down the pipeline right now is massive layoffs. There are a ton of companies right now shedding jobs. Why? Johnson & Johnson slashing 3,000 jobs, Walmart is pulling the plug on like 269 stores. GE plans to cut 6,000 plus jobs in Europe. BP is to slash thousands of more jobs since the oil downturn. They already slashed like 11,000 jobs in Houston. And now they're cutting more. Macy's closing 36 stores to cut 3,000 jobs. Sprint's cutting 2,500 jobs, closing call centers. Canada Pacific Railway, they're cutting 1,000 jobs. The Brazil economy, they're even shedding 1.5 million jobs. And the Olympics is coming. That's not good for your country. Pearson is cutting 4,000 jobs. Barclays, they're cutting 1,000 investment banker jobs, okay? Southwest Energy's laying off 1,000 workers because of the oil slump. All the major banks, Bank of America, Citigroup, JP and Morgan, they're cutting jobs. Autodesk, 10% of its income, 10% of its workforce. Caterpillar's closing 5 plants, cutting 670 jobs. And a bunch more, right? AIG, I think, is closing 174 of their offices, and they have only 178. So only 4 offices left open. Even Monsanto, the monster Monsanto, is slashing 1,000 jobs and going to cut a total of 3,000 this year. So Instacart, really cool app. I love it. They're even cutting some people. And so you're going to say, Erica, why are you telling me these? Why are you ruining my good day? Listen, I just want you to recognize that, all these companies are in the energy, finance, and tech sectors. The 3 biggest engines of growth, profits, and market the past 7 years of this economy recovery. And when you get ready to get your taxes back, I want you to think about, what do I want my future to look like? Do I want to be dependent on someone who can cut my job at any moment? Somebody far away thinks my job's not valuable, and now it's gone. So this is part of why I do this show. This is part of why I'm like on you guys. I'm like, look, man, I just did a video earlier about you can start businesses on the side and build things on the side. And it doesn't have to pay. It doesn't have to be $1 million ideal. It doesn't have to be this business that is a behemoth, right? It doesn't have to be Uber. It just has to be something you can tinker with and grow and scale, right? There was one woman who just, on the side, started making t-shirt designs that she loved and she thought was great. And guess what? It just took off. And it was about husbands dating your wives or something like that. It was or this wife loves her husband or dates her husband. It was just something nifty that was a niche for moms, married women. And she literally made $95,000. Now, she made out a series of other shirts and she decided, you know what? That's enough. I'm out of here. Now, most people would overlook that because they say, Erica, I made a t-shirt once and, I only sold, like maybe 300 of them. I only made like $7,000. Well, imagine if you had, you sold 5 shirts a day or you sold 10 shirts a day. I mean, at the end of the year, 10 shirts a day for a whole year, that's $72,000 a year. Let's just say you sell 5 shirts a day. That's $36,000 a year. What could you do with an extra $36,000 a year? And everybody's like, well, Erica, everybody doesn't want to do t-shirts. And that's fine. You don't have to do t-shirts. Find something that you enjoy. Go get a Strength Finders book. Go get you, just write down right now what you're talented in, what you're gifted in, something you love helping people with. Maybe it's taxes. Maybe you love helping people with their taxes. Maybe you love just giving, giving information that you could teach a classroom. You could go back and get, I know in my home state of North Carolina, if you have your degree and let's say you have a finance degree and you have a minor in business and you go back and get these 4 particular credits, you are now certified to teach at a community college. I know a lot of people who have spent years getting a doctorate degree, getting all these other things, so they can teach at a college. And you're just getting these 4 courses and you're going to teach at a community college because you want to help people and you want to get a nice chunk of change, a nice stream of income. Work on being a professor. Maybe work on your doctorate in the future if you change your mind. I mean, getting started is key. And that's why I talk about the massive action. Because honestly, some people, what if a recession does come 2016, 2017? It doesn't matter if you've started building something on the side that can take care of you and your family. Do you understand that? I mean, we always talk about Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman. It's like, well, if you're not in big debt, you're not going to be a slave. Listen, some things happen. Sometimes people got new cars and then they learned later, like that wasn't the best idea. Or they got a really expensive house and they're like, man, but you're not stuck in that house. You're not stuck in that car. You have the complete opportunity to be free. The complete opportunity, right? You are more than free to pay down that debt this year or just bring up your income through other sources so you're just not absolutely stuck and dependent on your job. Now, I'll give you an example. I have a friend who, him and his brother, they're tight, they're close, but they wouldn't really want to work together. Well, the one guy works in an office all day. He hates it. The other brother works on AC units. And he said, listen, I'm really good at marketing. I'm really good at sales. Is there any way I could just help you with the company and, maybe I start working for you in the company or I just get 10% of the sales I bring in, right? Well, you know what? Overnight, that company started getting bigger and bigger because most people who are, creatives or, they have the skill, if you ever read the ebook, E-Myth Revisited, a lot of times they don't like being a manager. They don't like being a boss. They don't like setting schedules. They just like working. They just love their craft. But long story short, that company ended up getting bigger and bigger for him. He was able to leave that crappy job. I mean, I just know many people who, once they work together, if they have a wife who's more of an accountant, more of an organizer, and he's just more of a happy-go-lucky worker and likes to have guys similar to him working around him, they can have a pretty good company. So, I mean, it's important for you to figure out, is that something that entertains you? Do you have a cousin who you think could be a bigger truck driver or have a trucking company or a bigger plumber or a bigger mechanic? If you just had a little bit more sales, if you just had a little bit more opportunity. I mean, maybe you think, you can start a company, this year and you hire a couple guys to do the work. And you just keep working the referrals and you keep working the phones and you keep working neighborhoods. I mean, there's many opportunities to build up streams of income. I mean, prime example, me and my family work in property management. And you know what I did? I bought a list. I went out there, emailed. I didn't email, honestly. I actually mailed letters, good old-fashioned letters, to over, I think, 5,000 people at one point. And then I got it lower and lower to maybe 2,000 at a better point. But I consistently just kept building the door, knocking, building the list. And I didn't say, this year, this company's going to have 100 clients. No, I said, in 5 years, I want this company to have 100 clients. So if I get 20 new clients a year for the next 5 years, I'm great. It's building nice, slow, and steady, and I could transition and leave. I mean, the average property manager makes about $50,000 to $60,000, and that's with a small amount of units. Now, I mean, there's several people. Invest for More, I forgot the guy's name exactly, but he has a great blog about how he had planned to buy 100 units. He's only at 13, I think at this point, 13 or 15, and he had to start a whole property management company. He had to start a whole operation where his guys can come in and fix things, and his guys are taking phone calls, because guess what? When you start building and building on that, you just can't overnight handle everything. You can't handle every call. You can't handle every complaint. You can't handle every payment. You can't handle every broken thing and call, plumbing and assistant guys and construction guys over. It takes systems, and it takes a process, and it takes other people. I don't know. Many people know about this. I talk about it all the time on my show, is 28 million, solopreneurs in this country, right? There's 28 million small business owners. And we're saying that, to break them apart from the bigger business owners. But out of that 28 million, 24 million of those are single person companies. Just one person working, no employees. It's hard to build your brand, create buzz, create a healthier stream without having one or two helpers. So there's nothing wrong with you starting something on the side. If you just take massive action this year, if you take that refund check, and instead of going, I'm going to go on vacation and I'm going to buy a car and I'm going to buy a new TV and clothes. And I've met people who've done that. And that's fine, because they don't care. But if you take that and you go, I'm going to start a little business on the side. I start marketing and promoting with a few Facebook ads here and there. Something. I'm going to do an MLM on the side. I'm going to do something that helps other people. All right? So I know a lot of people always talking about health, and I'm like, listen, join USANA, join Beachbody, join something, and you're already going to work out. You're already going to take pictures of you working out. You're already going to take pictures of your food. Now you're just going to be taking pictures of shakes and helping other people build their business. All right? It's really that simple. It's really that simple to build a business on the side. Or just to have some kind of control over your life. Because if you walk in tomorrow and they lay you off, like I just remember watching the news, the Virginia shipyards, they told them, look, we're laying off 1,500 people. What would you do the next day if you had to work at the shipyard? I would be looking for another job. I would already be actively searching. I'd be actively, building up a lawn care business, building up some type of business on the side, because I knew it was coming, right? Now, they laid off 480 people in September, right before Christmas, okay? That sucks, right? Well, then they're laying off another chunk in like 2 weeks. And they're like, hey, Friday's your last day, dude. They're laying off a whole nother 500 or so. No, 730. So imagine those guys who didn't get laid off before Christmas. They thought, wow, I missed the cut. I'm going to have a great Christmas. And they went right back to their normal lives instead of going, this company is cutting 1,500 jobs. I must figure out something else to do. I must sign up for community college course to be trained to do something else. Oh no, I must find another shipyard to work at. I'm going to have to relocate to Charleston. I'm going to have to relocate to Florida. I'm going to have to relocate to somewhere that has a shipyard and will pay this really nice salary I have. Right? If it was me, I'd immediately go, man, you know what? It's about time for me to invest in being a air conditioning man, a CDL holder, a truck driver. I'd find something else to do. Why? Because when the market in that area is flooded with 1,500 guys, and it may be women that work at a shipyard, but I'm just saying stereotypically Navy guys, I'm going to go, crap. I'm going to be competing with hundreds, if not 1,000 other guys, all going to be truck driving school, or all going to get HVAC skills, or all going to do something at the same exact time. How about I be smarter and I go now? All right? So I don't want to make this one terribly long, but I just had to really be honest. Listen. If you're getting that tax money, and I meet people all the time who get $5,000, $8,000. There was a guy, his wife makes $100,000 a year. Now, if you know anything about taxes, already 1/3 of that's coming out of her pocket. I mean, she's already paying probably $36,000 a year in taxes. And she's really making $64,000. When you're making $100,000, really after taxes, federal, state, all that good stuff, you're making $64,000. No matter what anybody tells you, if they look at all their checks and they add it up, the math is clear. Okay, right? But her husband had been working on the side, tinkling. He'd always been a person who, was hopping from thing to thing after he got out of the military. And guess what? His business kind of did pretty well for himself. He was one of those Amazon FBA guys this year. And guess what? He actually, once they did their taxes, they got $12,000 back. Between the kids, between his business, and between her working and paying all those federal taxes, they got some money back. Okay? And people are going to go, wow. Now imagine if you're a husband and your wife's making $100,000 and your business is finally taking off, but it's taking forever. How good would it be to feel for her to know that because of your business, she got back $12,000? I mean, you got it back together, but overall, you got back $12,000 of her money. Okay? So don't overlook this opportunity to use this tax time to do something different. I talk to people all the time who live in the South and, they can't ever seem to own a house. Oh man, Erica, you don't understand. I just can't get this house because, it's so expensive. And I'll look up and I'll tell them this house is $45,000. Are you seriously going to look me in the eye and tell me, it's just too expensive? I mean, imagine people who live in Las Vegas. Imagine people who live in Texas paying $500,000 for houses. And you're living down the street from a nice home, 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath for $45,000 and you just can't afford it. It's too much. I mean, if you just do the simple math on that, FHA loan, that's maybe like $1,575 down. And around the same amount for closing. So that's probably someone's average tax refund. Imagine if every year when you did your taxes, you took your tax refund and you bought an additional home to rent out. Something small like that $45,000 house that you're going to get. I mean, literally, your mortgage on a $45,000 house may be $500. And that's a stretch. I mean, it may most likely be $229, $230. It's going to be so low. I mean, there's people walking around right now driving around with Mercedes-Benz and BMW cars worth that much. You're actually buying a house, renting it out with a property management company and getting some nice returns. Let's say the mortgage is only $300 a month, right? Let's just say we're hypothetical. And where you're at in your area, it runs from $750 to $900. That's anywhere from $500 to, maybe $600 back in your pocket every month. A nice stream of income. And I know a lot of people, what they do is they'll give people a discount if they'll stay 3 years. 2 to 3 years. If you stay 2 to 3 years, we'll shave the rent down. And we'll shave the deposits down if you sign a contract for 3 years. And people do it all the time. Why? Because people don't like moving. And they don't like their rent jumping all around. It scares them. At least if they start at a lower rent, then they're okay with you moving it up. But it takes you thinking ahead and thinking bigger in order to get what you're looking for, in order to get that opportunity, in order to take that massive action for you and your family, to give your family the future you think they deserve, in order to provide for them in the way you want. If you're a mother, a single mother, and guess what? Every year you buy a small property that doesn't need a lot of work, that you can simply rent out through a property manager with you not involved. After 4 or 5 years of you and your children, and I know single mothers who get $8,000 back a year. Imagine if you bought a home 5 years in a row. And just that extra $600 a month times 5 properties, that's $3,000. That is the income of another person. It's like you got another person in your home. And then at the end of the year, you're going to be able to write off different deductions from that home, the time you spent investing and checking on it. It's a really great opportunity. And there's a great blogger you should check out, Paula Pant of affordanything.com. I mean, her stuff is really great. And she talks about how she bought $20,000 homes. $20,000 homes, and they're renting out for $900. And she paid for them in cash because she literally is that serious about living off one person's income, saving the money, and recognizing opportunity. And she was in the great state of Atlanta. Now she's in Las Vegas. Why is she in Las Vegas? Because she can. Because the fact that she has 9 homes, she's free. She is free to go as she pleases. And I know that's what you're looking for. And if we have another great recession, so what? If you're taking massive action ahead of the crowd, man, your life can be really sweet. It can be a really great moment for you. But you have to decide that you're going to take advantage of that really great moment. So tax season can be a brighter future season. It can be an opportunity season. It's up to you. That coaching you wanted to invest in, those books you wanted to buy, those audiobooks you can now afford to purchase and listen in your car as you go to work every day, that personal trainer you wanted to afford, which I always tell people, go on Groupon. Buy you 1 or 2, stack it up, Groupons of personal trainers. Right now it's really hot seasons for them, so they don't really do a lot of discounts. But coming around March, they'll do discounts. March and April, they'll do discounts. And you go on Groupon and you take that action for 2 months in a row, you're going to see changes in your body before the summer. If you start taking that massive action, going to a few conferences this year, you'll see the change in you. But it takes you getting that massive action. It just takes you deciding, every year I do the same thing with my tax return, and every year I'm in the same place. But guess what? It takes you having that wake up moment. Many studies, many Business Insider studies say that the average American does not change their spending habits, does not change their living or exercise habits until a major heart attack, stroke, or health issue. They don't change their finances either to that health issue, or they get laid off from work. And as you read earlier, I read all those layoffs. So if you're fortunate enough to be like, I'm keeping my job, even though 70% of Americans hate their job, I'm just begging people to put away $200 a month. It seems radical. $200 a month boils down to $50 a week. You can't put away $50 a week in a 10% earning account. Monthly dividend stocks. I mean, it's just opportunities to do that. And if you do that for 40 years, man, you've got $1 million, $1 million+ bucks, 1.2. But many people go, Erica, that's forever. But even if you don't save for 40 years, let's say if you save for 20. Let's say you save for 10 and you get fired. Guess what? You're ahead of the crowd. Listen to me. 63% of Americans don't even have $1,000 saved for emergencies. So if you get your tax refund and you put away $2,000 in a bank certificate as a savings account, as an emergency, you are ahead of the crowd. Not crazy? 63%. And I know many people are going, what am I going to do with $1,000, Erica? My rent's $1,000. True, it happens. So anyway, this is Erica, Classy Climb blog. I really want you guys, thank you guys for listening. I want you guys to go check out the Classy Climb School. You can check that out on Gumroad. We can go check out, just definitely Google Classy Climb School. I have it in the links below. I'll have the information for you. And thank you guys for listening. And I really hope you guys are taking that massive action in your life that you deserve. So you guys have a great night.